Hello fellow educators, my name is Michael Doumtsis and I'm going to be explaining today my understanding of constructivism and how it can play a large role in the teaching process at schools. Children often learn in different ways and at different rates for that matter, and it was the theories of teaching which helped us distinguish which methods work better than others. I strongly agree with the cognitive and constructive theories and know that childhood learning is a byproduct of social interaction between students, teachers, and their environments. Children learn and grow, and it is in their growth that we see a stage-building process occurring. This scaffolding mentality of learning is explained by researchers and constructive theorists. Constructivism is a branch theory stemming from cognitive theory. Cognitive theory was first developed by Jean Piaget in 1936, where we first began to see how learning was focused on more than scientific stimulation, and how in fact it was between social interactions between individuals, their peers, and their external environments that actually stimulates learning. I strongly agree with this theory, that learning takes place through solving problems and facilitating that child's knowledge and growth through active learning. Constructivism implores that a child will build upon their prior knowledge through use of existing knowledge. Children require a strong foundation if they are to build upon their learning, and if there are any knowledge gaps, it will be evident when trying to build upon this. Constructive theorists state that the more actively engaged a student is in activity, the greater the learning that will take place. I strongly believe in this. As outlined in the pyramid, there we can see that the passive learning approach through things like reading, hearing words, watching a movie, that children often do not remember that much information, only between 10 and 50%. Whilst if the more active approach, or the more active the task is, and the more the child is involved, the greater the level of learning will take place. This is what constructive theorists believe in, and is what I believe in strongly as well. As teachers, we need to push the idea of constructive teaching and facilitate their learning. So by doing physically active tasks like building projects, building posters, getting kids to be hands-on, then we can get them to learn more and get them to retain a lot more information. This is known as constructionism, a branch off of constructivism. When looking at constructivism, we know we as teachers must facilitate and assist the children when they are undergoing difficult tasks. However, it is up to that child to reflect on past experience and reconcile this in order to make assumptions and solve future tasks. It is like a spiral in which the children and teachers continuously reflect on ideas and experiences, and this allows them to gain complex understanding and develop abilities to assist themselves in solving questions and implement ideas. For example, in a school context, in a school setting, in a science classroom, we have a group of students in science that are discussing a problem in physics. Even though the teacher knows the answer to this question, they won't provide the students with that question. The teacher's focus will then become on assisting these children in asking specific questions which focus them to look at the task more in depth and to explore what they already know and what they can use of that knowledge in order to solve this new task. Once a child in that group knows an idea, the teacher will subtly implement an idea and say that that is a really strong point and they should look upon that point in order to solve the problem, and then other students will reconcile their ideas, and then it's a building stage process. So all the children are getting actively involved and feeling like they're contributing to solving the problem. After they've completed the task, it is really important, especially in constructivism and constructive theorists' perspective, that they reflect on what was worked out. Constructivism acts to modify the role of teachers. So us as teachers, we used to just believe that it was a good idea to give information and students will gain the knowledge. Gone are those days. Through the use of higher communications technology, higher access to things like phones, internet, things like that, students are constantly questioning our ideas more than ever. And as such, we don't want to impede this growth, but facilitate it and get them to ask the right questions. Constructivism has many strengths. It emphasizes on sensory learning, growing active participation. However, and it overlooks the more traditional methods. It employs active teaching methods and is highly effective for teaching children with special needs. It encourages children to actively engage and participate in the learning process and retain more information. So teachers are to guide the students and drive their learning. The weaknesses of constructivism, however, it is very hard to structure. It's focused on specific children. So it disregards the curriculum and focuses more on personalized learning methods, which take into consideration personal understanding, and then some children can often fall behind because they are copying other students, and then the teachers fail to see this, and then because there's no grading system, they end up falling out. Some principles are sound, but sound individually in the constructivism theory. However, as a whole learning theory, it is basically kind of flawed because of the lack of structure and curriculum and assessment potential. So there's no scientific method or backing. Many tests and tools are qualitative, and the question bases are hard to compare against child to child. In conclusion, constructive learning is an important tool to facilitate learning. However, it is not a substantial substitute for regular traditional methods, as there's no scientific backing. However, the scaffolding method of teaching, where children drive their own learning through activities and teacher facilitation, is very important, and I strongly believe this. Thank you for listening today. I hope that this was very informative.